Good morning, grade 3. I hope you had a lovely weekend off and are ready to get started again. Don't forget to practice your flashcards, your multiplication tables, and then we are going to get going on some more knowing when to multiply or divide. So it's the same thing that we did last week Friday, except now the idea is that we will have word problems. Instead of just being given the facts, we're going to have word problems and we have to decide whether to multiply or divide. So let's take a look at what we have here. We are given the information 24 chairs and 6 rows. So this is just sort of a review of what we did last week. What information is missing? We need to know the number of items in each group and the number of groups to find out the total number of items. What information do we have? We know our total number of items and we know the number of groups. We don't know yet the number of items in each group. And you'll remember that last week I said that every time we know the total number of items, do we do division or multiplication? Think back. Every time we know the total number of items, we always do division. So we can say here, we don't know this information, we do know this information and this information, so we can make our division sentence then. 24, our total number of items, divided by 6, the number of groups that we have equals, and here's the information we need to find out. Well, if we do our skip counting, since most of us haven't gotten to the 6 times tables yet, if we do our skip counting by 6s, we'll be able to solve this. So fist up and let's do our skip counting. Fingers up when we count. Ready? 6, 12, 18, 24. You should have 4 fingers up, which shows us that 24 divided by 6 equals 4 chairs in each row. So that's what we did last week. We're going to be doing more of the same this week, except that this time we're going to have it written into full sentences so that they are word problems that we have to solve. But it's exactly the same material that we were doing last week. So, for example, we did all these last week. We just didn't necessarily have full sentences. But if we have 30 people, 6 vans, our question is how many people in each van. We want to fill in this information with whatever information we have and put question marks for the things that we don't have. So to start with, we know our total number of items. It's 30 people. We know our number of groups. There's 6 vans. And we do not know the number of items in each group. That's what it's asking us. How many people are in each van? We don't know. That's what we need to figure out. So a question mark goes here. Now the question is, do we have to do multiplication or division to answer this question? Remember, we know our total number of items. And every time that we know the total number of items, we always do division. So this is going to be a division sentence. We don't have to solve it yet. We'll do that later. Right now it's just asking us to fill in the chart here. So our next one then, 8 chairs in each row, 5 rows. How many chairs? Okay, let's fill in our information chart. Do we know the total number of chairs? We have 8 in each row and we have 5 rows. We do not know how many. That's what it's asking us. How many chairs? So we're going to put a question mark there. The second question is the number of groups. Do we know the number of groups? Yes, we know there's 5 rows. Our other question is the number of items in each group. Do we know that? Yes, we know there's 8 chairs in each row. So now that we have this filled in, we can decide, are we going to do a multiplication or a division sentence? Do we know our total number of items? No, we do not. And if we don't know our total number of items, we always do multiplication. So we don't have to solve it yet. We're just filling in the chart. Let's look at C. If we have 24 rowers with 8 in each rowboat, How many rowboats? All right, let's fill in the information we have. Do we know the total number of items? Well, we have 24 rowers, so yes, we know 24 rowers altogether. Do we know the number of groups? Well, how many rowboats? So no, we do not know. We're going to put a question mark there. Do we know the number of items in each group? Yes, we know there's 8 rowers in each rowboat. So now that we have this information filled in, we can decide, are we going to do multiplication or division to solve this? And since we know the total number of items, what is the rule? If we know the total, we always do division. There we go. We always do division. So now we've filled all these in. Our next question is, go back and find the missing number in all of them. So we need to solve them now. Okay, let's see. The first one, 30 people in 6 vans. How many people in each van? Well, 36, question mark. We're going to do division. Let's write out our sentence. Here we have 30 people altogether divided by 6 vans equals how many in each van? Well, we can do our skip counting. Fist up. Let's count, skip counting by 6. Ready? 6, 12, 18, 24, 30. How many fingers are up? You should have 5. So our answer is 5 people in each van. So because this is a short answer question or a word problem, right now we're just filling in the chart. But if you were asked to answer this, you would answer in a complete sentence and say, there are 5 people in each van. Right now we only have to fill in the chart, so we don't have to worry about writing full sentences. How about B? 8 chairs in each row, 5 rows. How many chairs? So there we've got our information. What we were looking for is the total number of items. And we decided we need to do a multiplication here because we don't know our total. So here's our question. 5 groups times 8 in each group, or 5 rows times 8 chairs in each row equals how much? Well, we can skip count. We can either skip count by 5s or 8s. I think it's easier to skip count by 5s. So let's skip count by 5, 8 times. Get those hands and fingers ready. And we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So 40 chairs is our answer. And if we wrote it in a complete sentence, we would say there are 40 chairs altogether. And then our last one, 24 rowers, 8 in each rowboat. How many rowboats? So there's our information. We do know our total number of items, so we decided we're going to do division. So our sentence then is 24 rowers divided by 8 in each rowboat equals how many rowboats? Let's do some skip counting. Again, if you're not really great at skip counting these bigger numbers, that's fine. You can just use a piece of scrap paper and draw dots or lines. That's fine. Because we can do it a little faster here, we'll just do skip counting. But when you're doing the work yourself, if you need to draw dots or lines for doing the skip counting, you're perfectly allowed to do that. Let's do our skip counting by 8. Fists up, fingers ready. We have 8, 16, 24. How many fingers? You should have 3 fingers because 24 divided by 8 equals 3 rowboats altogether. Wonderful. Then we have some arrays. It's been a little while, I think, since we did some arrays. We need to identify the fact family that these arrays are showing. Remember we talked a couple lessons ago about fact families, that every picture like this shows us 2 multiplication and 2 division questions. So let's take a look at what this is. Remember from way back long time ago, we talked about rows and columns. And here's how we can write it out to remember rows go sideways and columns go up and down. So if we know that, then let's look at this here. If we look at rows, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 rows with 5 dots in each row. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns with 4 dots in each column. So you notice we had the same numbers, 4 rows of 5 or 5 columns of 4. So we can do our multiplication sentences. 4 rows of 5 in each row, or 5 columns with 4 in each column. And we can write those like this. 4 times 5 equals 20, and 5 times 4 equals 20. Now remember, we learned that we can write the opposite for division. So we can just read these backwards and make it a division. So if 4 times 5 equals 20, then 20 divided by 5 equals 4. And if 5 times 4 equals 20, then 20 divided by 4 equals 5. So this is the fact family that this picture shows. We need to find the other 3 members of the fact family. Remember, every fact family will have 4 members, 2 multiplication questions and 2 division questions. So when they give us 1, we need to find the other 3. So 6 times 4 equals 24. What will our other multiplication sentence be? Well, our equals 24 won't change, but these 2 can just switch order. So we have 4 times 6 equals 24. That was easy. Now we want to do division. Remember, division always starts with the biggest number. So now we're just going to read these backwards. 24 divided by 6 equals 4, and 24 divided by 4 equals 6. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Let's look at B. 28 divided by 7 equals 4. So we're doing a division this time. So our 28, our biggest number, is going to stay the same. That will stay at the beginning. All we need to do is switch these 2 around. So 28 divided by 4 equals 7. Now we need to make our multiplication facts. And remember, all we need to do is read it backwards. So 7 times 4 equals 28. And 4 times 7 equals 28. And our last one, 36 divided by 4 equals 9. It's a division one again. So we're going to keep, for our other division, we keep this number at the beginning, the biggest number at the beginning, 36, and we just switch these ones around. So 36 divided by 9 equals 4. And then for multiplication sentences, all we do is read them backwards. 4 times 9 equals 36, and 9 times 4 equals 36. All right, so fact families are pretty straightforward. Always 2 multiplication sentences and always 2 division sentences. Let's keep going. Here's a word problem. 56 people are divided into teams with 8 people on each team. How many teams are there? So remember, the information we always want is the number of items in each group and the number of groups and the total number of items. Those are the 3 pieces of information we need. And remember, to start, we can look for our clue words like each, every. That will tell us what our group is. So here we have each. That is our clue word there. And that tells us that our groups are teams. So let's see what information we can fill in. We can fill in that we do not know the number of groups, the number of teams, because it says right here, how many teams are there? I don't know. That's what I need to figure out. So we can put a question mark there for that. How about the number of items in each group and the total number of items? We have that information here. 8 people on each team, 56 people altogether. So that means we can write our sentence now. If we have our total number, we know our total number, that means we always have to do division. 56 divided by 8 equals how many? Let's do our skip counting. Fists up, ready with those fingers. We have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56. So you should have 7 fingers up. And our answer then, our full sentence answer would be, there are 7 teams. Because it asks, how many teams are there? And we should answer, there are 7 teams. Solve the word problem. 45 stamps are arranged in 5 rows. How many stamps are in each row? Well, what are our items? We know our items are the stamps, and it says we have 45 stamps. What are our sets? Look for our clue word each row. So the rows are our sets, and we know we have 5. It says we have 5 rows. How many are in each set? Well, we don't know that. That's the question. It says how many stamps are in each row. That's what we need to figure out. We do know our total. And every time we know our total, we always do division. So our question will be 45 stamps altogether divided into 5 rows equals how many stamps in each row? Let's skip count. Fist up. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. That should be 9. So our answer is there are 9 stamps in each row. A photo album with 7 pages has 6 photos on each page. How many photos are in the album? What are our items? Our items are the photos, but we don't know how many there are. And that's what it's asking us. How many photos are in the album? That's what we need to figure out. What are the sets? Oops, I filled that in too soon. Our sets are each page. So our sets are the pages, and it says we have 7 pages. How many in each set? It says we have 6 photos on each page. So here's all the information we have. We do not know our total number of items. And when we don't know our total, we always do multiplication. So let's take the 2 facts we do know. 7 pages times 6 on each page equals what? Well, let's do our skip counting. Shall we skip by 7s or 6s? Let's skip count by 7s. Fists are ready? 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. There we go. There are 42 photos in the album. A student earned $72 for 8 hours of dog sitting. How much does the student earn each hour? What are our items? Our items here are actually the dollars. 72 of them. The student earned $72. So that's our item. How many sets, or what is the sets? Sorry. The sets are, let's see, each hour. So our sets are the hours, and it says we had 8 hours. How many in each set, or how many dollars each hour? That we don't know. That's what it asks us. How much does the student earn each hour? We don't know. We're going to figure it out, but we do know our total. And every time we know our total, we always do division. So $72 divided by 8 hours equals how many dollars each hour? Well, let's skip count by those 8s all the way up to 72. Ready with your fists? And 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. How many fingers? 9. The student earned $9 each hour. Then I'm going to skip this next bunch and go right to this one here. A bookshelf has 36 books on 3 shelves. How many shelves are needed if only 6 books can be put on a shelf? Do you remember a couple of days ago we were talking about questions that have extra information that you can ignore? Well, there's some extra information in here that we can ignore because there's our 36 books. And we figure our items are what? What are our items? Our items are the books, right? And we have 36 of them. Then we want to know our sets. What are our sets? What are we putting them onto? We're putting them onto shelves. We don't know how many though, but it's asking us. Here it says we had 3 shelves before, but now it's saying how many shelves will we need if we do this? So we have to figure out how many shelves we need. So that's the information we don't know. How many are in each set? It says we're going to put 6 books in each set on each shelf. So we can figure that part out. We've got that there, 6 in each shelf. So the extra information that we didn't need is that it's on 3 shelves right now. It doesn't matter what it's on right now. We want to know how many shelves if we put 6 books on each shelf. So this is extra information we can ignore. We don't have that 3 shelves anywhere down here. It's information we don't need. But we do know our total number of books, and whenever we know our total, we always do division. So 36 books divided by 6 books on each shelf equals how many shelves that we need? Let's skip count. Get your fist ready, and 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. So we have 6 shelves with 6 books on each shelf. A stamp book has 45 stamps with 5 stamps on each page. A second stamp book has 32 stamps with 4 stamps on each page. Which book has more pages? Wow, this is a question that has several steps for us to figure it out. The first part we're going to figure out is this top one. A stamp book has 45 stamps with 5 stamps on each page. So let's figure that one out first. We have 45 stamps altogether divided by 5 stamps on each page. And we know we're doing division because we know how many it has altogether. Whenever we know our total, we do division. So 45 stamps divided by 5 stamps on each page equals how much? Well, we can say 45 divided by 5 equals, let's skip count. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. There are 9 pages in that book. Okay, then let's go to the second book. A second stamp book has 32 stamps with 4 stamps on each page. So that's 32 stamps divided by 4 stamps on each page equals how many pages? 32 divided by 4 equals, let's do our skip counting. Are you ready? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. That's right, 8 pages. So now we can see which book has more pages. The answer is the book with 45 stamps has more pages. This has 9 pages, so that book has more pages. All right, you can turn in your book to page 21 and 22. You can pause this for a moment if you need to circle which ones we're doing today. You do not have to do all of them. You are always welcome to do all of them. If you're looking for some extra work because you really love doing math, it's great. If you struggle a little bit with it and want a little bit extra practice, do some more of the questions. These are the ones you need to do, and you may do any extra ones that you would like to do as well. Have a good day, grade 3.